Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. Welcome back to my channel, Science of Healing. If you're over the age of 80, I want you to pause for a moment and listen carefully, because what I'm about to share could quite literally determine whether you stay independent or lose it faster than you ever imagined. There is a simple test. No equipment, no gym, no medication. It takes just 10 seconds. If you can't pass it, research shows your risk of falls, fractures, loss of mobility, and even early mortality rises sharply. Not next year, not someday, but now. The test is simple. Stand up straight, lift one foot off the ground. Can you hold that position for 10 seconds without wobbling, grabbing, or stepping down? If you struggled even a little, your body is giving you a warning signal, not fear. Information, because balance is not just about your legs. It's about your nervous system, your circulation, your muscle memory, and the communication between your brain and your body. If you're over the age of 80 and you failed the 10-second balance test, I want you to understand something very clearly right now. This is not a sign that your life is winding down, and it is not just old age. It is a warning signal. And science tells us that warning signals exist for one reason only, so they can be acted upon before it's too late. Most people are told that losing balance is inevitable, that weakness, shaking, and fear of falling are simply part of getting older. That belief is not only wrong, it is dangerous. Research published in major medical journals has shown that the inability to stand on one leg for just 10 seconds is strongly associated with a significantly higher risk of falls, fractures, loss of independence, hospitalization, and even premature death. One large study found that adults who failed this test had an almost twofold increase in mortality risk compared to those who passed it. Not because balance itself kills you, but because balance reflects how well your brain, nerves, muscles, and circulation are still communicating. Balance is not a skill you're born with and then lose forever. Balance is a conversation inside your body. It is the constant exchange of signals between your brain, your inner ear, your eyes, your spinal cord, and the tiny stabilizing muscles in your feet, ankles, hips, and core. When that conversation slows down, the body doesn't respond fast enough to save you from a stumble. That's when falls happen. And falls, especially after 80, are not minor events. Statistics show that 1 out of 4 adults over 65 falls each year, and after 80, falls become the leading cause of injury-related death. One fall can take away mobility, confidence, and independence in a matter of seconds. But here is the shocking part that almost no one tells you. The systems responsible for balance do not shut down because of age. They shut down because of inactivity. Neurologists have demonstrated that the brain remains plastic, capable of change, well into the 80s and 90s. Muscle fibers that control balance, known as type Y, and stabilizer fibers can be reactivated in weeks. Nerve conduction speed, which slows with age, has been shown to improve with targeted movement. This means failing the 10-second test is not a verdict, it is a message. When you lift 1 foot off the ground, your brain instantly receives thousands of signals. Pressure sensors in the sole of your foot tell your nervous system where your weight is. The inner ear detects subtle shifts in head position. Your eyes help orient your body in space. Your spinal cord sends rapid instructions to muscles you never consciously think about. When this system is strong, it feels effortless. When it weakens, the body panics, the wobble begins, the foot comes down, and confidence quietly erodes. Studies using brain imaging show that older adults who train balance regularly increase activity in the cerebellum, the part of the brain responsible for coordination and motor control. That means balance training is not just physical exercise. It is brain training. Every second you practice stability, you are strengthening neural pathways that protect you from falls. Here's another fact that should stop you in your tracks. After the age of 80, fear of falling becomes one of the strongest predictors of future falls. Why? Because fear causes people to move less. Less movement leads to weaker muscles. Weaker muscles reduce reaction time. Reduced reaction time increases fall risk. It becomes a vicious cycle. Failing the 10-second test often marks the moment that cycle begins, but it can also mark the moment you break it. Circulation plays a major role here as well. Reduced blood flow to the brain and inner ear affects balance long before memory problems appear. Research shows that gentle, consistent movement improves nitric oxide production, increasing blood flow to balance centers in the brain. This means the very act of practicing balance helps restore the circulation required to maintain it. There is also a direct link between balance and longevity. Balance reflects overall biological resilience. People who maintain balance later in life tend to have better muscle mass, stronger bones, healthier nervous systems, and lower inflammation. These are not coincidences, they are connected systems. When balance declines, it often signals that multiple systems are being underused. When balance improves, those systems begin working together again. If you failed the test today, understand this. Your body is not broken. It is understimulated, and the body responds remarkably fast when given the right stimulus. Research on older adults shows measurable improvements in balance within just 2 to 4 weeks of simple daily training. Confidence follows quickly after, and confidence changes behavior. People walk more, they stand taller, they move with less hesitation. That alone reduces fall risk dramatically. This is why the 10-second test matters so much. It's not about judging yourself, it's about awareness. It's about catching decline early while the nervous system is still adaptable. Waiting until a fall happens is waiting too long. By then, fear, injury, and immobility may already be in control. Failing this test does not mean decline is inevitable. It means your body is asking for a signal it hasn't been receiving: movement, stability, engagement. And when you give the body that signal, even after 80, it responds. The science is clear. The nervous system listens. Muscles remember. Balance returns. Aging does not take balance away. Silence does. And the moment you decide to challenge your balance again, you begin rewriting the future of your independence, 1 second at a time. 3 simple movements. That's all it takes. No machines, no pills, no extreme effort. Just 3 gentle actions that science now confirms can wake up balance systems that have been dormant for years, even after the age of 80. And what makes this so powerful is not how hard these movements are, but how deeply they speak to the nervous system, the brain, and the muscles that keep you upright and alive. The first movement looks almost too simple to matter, standing on one leg. But when you lift a foot off the ground, something extraordinary happens inside your body. Your brain is instantly flooded with sensory information. Pressure receptors in your standing foot send signals up through the spinal cord. The inner ear detects the slightest shift in head position. The eyes lock onto the horizon. And the cerebellum, the brain's balance command center, begins firing rapidly to keep you stable. Studies show that even brief single-leg standing activates deep stabilizer muscles that are rarely used during normal walking. These muscles are the first to weaken with age, and their decline is one of the strongest predictors of falls. Researchers have found that practicing supported single-leg standing for just a few seconds a day can significantly improve postural control in older adults within weeks. One study showed improvements in reaction time and ankle strength that translated directly into fewer falls. This is not about strength alone. It's about retraining the brain to respond faster. When a stumble happens, milliseconds matter, and this movement teaches your nervous system to react before gravity wins. The second movement may feel familiar, but it is far more powerful than most people realize. Slowly standing up from a chair and slowly sitting back down. This action targets the quadriceps, glutes, hips, and core, which together form the body's natural shock absorbers. These muscles are responsible for catching you when you trip, stabilizing you when you turn, and controlling your descent when balance is challenged. Research shows that loss of leg strength is one of the strongest risk factors for falls and loss of independence in adults over 80. But the real magic of slow sit-to-stand movements lies in how they affect the nervous system. Moving slowly forces the brain to stay engaged throughout the entire motion. It increases time under tension, improves motor control, and enhances communication between the brain and muscles. Studies using electromyography show increased muscle activation and better coordination when movements are performed slowly and deliberately. Even more striking, slow controlled movements have been shown to improve blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that support balance, cognition, and alertness. This movement also retrains confidence. Many older adults begin to avoid standing up quickly because they feel unsteady. That hesitation leads to stiffness and weakness. Practicing controlled sit-to-stand movements rebuilds trust between the mind and body. And confidence, according to multiple studies, is one of the most overlooked factors in fall prevention. When confidence returns, movement increases. And when movement increases, balance improves even further. The third movement is often underestimated, yet it challenges the balance system in a way few exercises can: heel-to-toe walking. When you place one foot directly in front of the other, you narrow your base of support to its absolute minimum. This forces the inner ear, eyes, spinal reflexes, and stabilizing muscles to work together in perfect coordination. Research shows that this type of tandem walking significantly improves gait stability, reduces sway, and enhances proprioception, the body's sense of position in space. What's especially fascinating is how heel-to-toe walking affects the brain. Functional imaging studies reveal increased activity in regions responsible for motor planning and balance when older adults practice this movement regularly. This means the brain is not passively aging, it is adapting. New neural connections are being formed, old pathways are being strengthened, and these changes translate into better balance, not just during the exercise, but during everyday activities like walking, turning, and stepping over obstacles. Here's a shocking fact that most people never hear. Falls are not usually caused by weakness alone. They are caused by delayed responses. When the brain doesn't send the right signal fast enough, the body cannot correct itself in time. These three movements directly target that delay. They train speed, coordination, and awareness without requiring speed or force. That's why they are so safe and so effective even after 80. Consistency is where transformation happens. Studies show that performing balance-focused movements daily produces better results than longer sessions done occasionally. The nervous system thrives on frequent reminders. Just a few minutes a day can lead to measurable improvements in balance within 2 to 4 weeks. And those improvements compound. Better balance leads to more movement. More movement leads to stronger muscles. Stronger muscles lead to greater independence. There's another layer most people overlook: circulation. Gentle balance exercises increase nitric oxide production, improving blood flow to the brain and inner ear. This enhanced circulation supports faster nerve signaling and better sensory processing. In other words, these movements don't just train balance, they nourish the systems that make balance possible. What makes these three movements so powerful is that they mirror real-life challenges. Standing on one leg prepares you for stepping off a curb. Sit-to-stand prepares you for rising from a chair or bed. Heel-to-toe walking prepares you for narrow spaces and uneven ground. The body doesn't learn balance from machines. It learns balance from balance itself. If you're over 80 and you feel unsteady, understand this: your body has not forgotten how to balance. It has simply stopped being asked to. And when you ask it again, gently, consistently, and with intention, it responds. The science is clear. These three movements can restore stability, confidence, and control. Not by pushing harder, but by reconnecting the brain and body in the way they were designed to work. Balance is not reclaimed through force. It is reclaimed through communication. And these three simple movements speak that language fluently, one steady step at a time. Consistency is the difference between decline and recovery, and nourishment is the fuel that decides how far your body can go. Most people believe balance is restored by effort alone, but science tells a deeper story. The body does not rebuild itself from willpower. It rebuilds itself from repetition and raw materials. And after the age of 80, those two factors become more powerful than anything else. Here is a fact that shocks many people. The human nervous system responds more strongly to small, consistent daily signals than to occasional intense effort. Researchers studying older adults found that 5 minutes of balance-focused movement done every day produced greater long-term improvement than 30 minutes done once or twice a week. The brain does not want to be overwhelmed, it wants to be reminded. Each daily repetition reinforces neural pathways that keep you upright, steady, and confident. Miss days repeatedly, and those pathways weaken. Show up daily, even briefly, and they strengthen. This is because balance lives in the nervous system, and the nervous system is governed by use it or lose it. Every day you practice standing steadily, rising smoothly, or walking with control, your brain receives a clear message. This ability is still needed. In response, it increases nerve signaling efficiency, improves muscle coordination, and sharpens reflexes. These changes are measurable. Brain scans show increased activity in balance-related regions after consistent practice, even in people in their 80s and 90s. But consistency alone is not enough if the body lacks the nutrients required to rebuild what movement awakens. This is where nourishment becomes the silent partner in balance recovery. Muscles cannot contract properly without minerals. Nerves cannot fire efficiently without adequate electrolytes. Bones cannot stabilize movement without sufficient vitamin D and calcium. And yet, studies show that a significant percentage of adults over 80 are deficient in key nutrients that directly affect balance. Magnesium is one of the most critical and most overlooked. Magnesium is required for nerve conduction, muscle relaxation, and coordination. Low magnesium levels are associated with muscle cramps, tremors, weakness, and delayed reaction time. Research has shown that magnesium deficiency is common in older adults due to reduced absorption and lower dietary intake. When magnesium is low, the nervous system becomes noisy and inefficient. Balance suffers. Simple foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, and whole grains provide magnesium in a form the body recognizes and uses. Vitamin D plays a role that goes far beyond bone health. Vitamin D receptors are found in muscle tissue and in the brain. Low vitamin D levels are strongly linked to muscle weakness, slower reaction times, and increased fall risk. Studies have shown that older adults with adequate vitamin D levels have better postural stability and fewer falls. Sunlight, fortified foods, eggs, and fatty fish all contribute to maintaining healthy levels, especially when combined with gentle daily movement that helps activate vitamin D pathways. Protein is another critical factor. After the age of 80, muscle loss accelerates rapidly if protein intake is inadequate. This loss is not always visible, but it is felt in slower movements, weaker legs, and reduced confidence. Research shows that older adults require more protein per kilogram of body weight than younger adults to maintain muscle mass. Protein provides the amino acids needed to repair and strengthen the very muscles that keep you from falling. Yogurt, eggs, lentils, beans, fish, and lean meats quietly support balance every time you eat them. Hydration may be the most underestimated factor of all. Even mild dehydration can impair balance, concentration, and reaction time. Studies show that dehydration reduces blood volume, limiting oxygen delivery to the brain and inner ear. This directly affects equilibrium. Many older adults drink less water due to reduced thirst signals or fear of frequent bathroom trips. But the result is often dizziness, weakness, and instability that are mistaken for aging. Adequate hydration restores circulation and supports faster nerve signaling. Here is the powerful truth. When consistency and nourishment work together, the effects multiply. Daily movement increases blood flow, which improves nutrient delivery. Proper nutrition supports muscle and nerve repair, which makes movement more effective. This creates a positive cycle that grows stronger with time. Balance improves, confidence returns, fear fades, independence is preserved. There is also a psychological shift that occurs with consistency. Each day you show up for your body, even for a few minutes, you reinforce a sense of control. Studies show that perceived control over physical ability reduces fear of falling and increases willingness to move. This mental shift is not trivial. Fear itself alters posture and gait, increasing fall risk. Confidence straightens the spine, relaxes the muscles, and improves coordination. One of the most striking findings in aging research is how quickly the body responds once the right conditions are met. Improvements in balance, strength, and reaction time have been documented in as little as 2 to 4 weeks when daily movement is paired with proper nutrition. These are not dramatic changes overnight. They are quiet changes that accumulate: a steadier step, a smoother rise from a chair, less hesitation when turning. These small victories add up to something profound. What consistency teaches the body is reliability. What nourishment provides is capacity. Together, they tell the nervous system that it is safe to invest resources in balance again. And the nervous system responds by becoming sharper, faster, and more coordinated. This is not optimism. This is physiology. If you are over 80 and feel unsteady, the answer is not to move less. It is to move wisely and fuel properly. Skipping days weakens the signal. Skipping nourishment limits the response. But when you commit to both, even gently, you change the trajectory of aging. Balance does not disappear because of age. It disappears because the body is no longer asked to maintain it and no longer given what it needs to do so. Restore the request through daily consistency. Restore the resources through simple, nourishing foods and hydration. And the body does what it has always done when given the chance. It adapts, it strengthens, it steadies itself. Longevity is not just about living longer. It is about staying upright, confident, and independent for as long as possible. And that future is shaped not by dramatic effort, but by small daily choices repeated faithfully, one day at a time, one step at a time, one nourishing meal at a time.